Hello and welcome, my friends, to the Peculiar Paradigm Storytelling Podcast, where youth determined to make the world a better place bring attention to issues that stop our society's progress from providing various perspectives through story. This story, The Knife, is a series that presents the injustice of the youth criminal justice system and its abusive rather than rehabilitative methods. The Knife is a thrilling and tragic story that follows the unfortunate journey of several teens through the juvenile justice system, how and why they end up within the system, how they survive in it, and how it changes them as people, for better or worse. Finally, if you're interested in supporting our efforts towards criminal justice reform, lovingly tap that like button and subscribe. It helps us immensely. Now, without further ado, grab some refreshments and get comfortable because our story is about to be told.
As I stepped onto campus, I strode across with my head up high. I don't know how this is going to go, but it is going to be oh so very satisfying. For me, at least. I started to walk to my homeroom. Maybe I could say goodbye to Crocs first. No, wait. I should. My thoughts get instantly cut off by Angelica and her gang stepping in front of me. Edward is in the front, which is weird because he isn't the leader, but he's the shortest among them, so him trying to look intimidating looks hilarious.
Hey, sad girl. I want to talk to you about almost dropping your lunch on me yesterday. I'm not even apologizing. Where I come from, you apologize when you do something like that. That is, unless you were trying to be disrespectful to me. Were you trying to disrespect me?
Anger burns brightly in his eyes. Something probably happened to him today that pissed him off, so he's deciding to take it out on me. If me almost bumping into him was so upsetting, why didn't he just threaten me then? Why do it now? I take a step back and shake my head side to side, trying not to provoke him. The idea that I have to back away from this bite-sized punk makes me angry. I clutch my bag tightly, thinking to myself for a moment, I could start painting now. But I overcome my impulse. After all, this isn't the right place, and I don't want to use his paint. A smile comes across his face.
Good.
He says, looking satisfied that he got to put someone in their place. He looks down at me holding my backpack.
I appreciate your apology, but actions speak louder than words. Maybe if you really want to make me feel like you're sorry, like you respect me, you give me whatever in that backpack.
Edward asks. Looking into his eyes without fear, I sharply reply, Why does it matter to you, Ed? Anger swells in his eyes again. He grabs my bag and I desperately hold onto it as tight as possible, pulling it into my chest and wrapping my arms around it. Edward isn't very strong, so I'm holding out fairly well against the little guy. That is, until he plants his foot in my gut and kicks outward as he pulls the bag toward himself with his hands. I fall backwards onto the concrete.
They see what you brought for me today, huh?
He says as he is about to open it. Without thinking, I get to my feet, crouched like a cat, and lunge at him. We tumble onto the ground, me on top of him. I punch him in the face, and it feels so good. I reel my arm back to hit him again, but before I could, Angelica pulls me off Edward and holds me back. I struggle furiously, kicking and wailing, but it is no good because the other two gang members help Angelica hold me down. Edward stands on top and chuckles, but it's obvious that he's furious.
Oh, you messed up now.
His pale fist crashes into my nose first, then my mouth, then my right eye. I can feel each spot he hit starting to swell already. My vision on the right eye is somewhat blurry. My hair that I neatly prepped this morning is now a huge mess, some strands sticking to my sweaty forehead. Edward stops for a moment and steps back a bit. And like a pro player, he cocks his hand back, hops forward on one foot, and throws his fist into my face again. This time hitting me harder than I have ever been hit before. I suddenly lost feeling in my legs. My head feels too heavy for my neck. Everything on my body goes still, my heart beating faster than ever. I can hear the crowd starting to form around us. I can barely see what is in front of me with my right eye swollen shut and hair dangling in my eyes. Edward continues punching me in intervals while he calls me names, curses at me, and stomps on my backpack. It feels like I'm dying. Well, at least I won't have to do it myself. As much as it hurts, it didn't sting as much as Angelica stabbing me in the back. I turned my head to look at Angelica so I can maybe spit in her eye before this loser Edward kills me. But as my eyes met hers, I see through the muddled vision an expression of pain and worry on her face. After our eyes meet, she lets go of my arm. The other kid, looking confused, follows Angelica's lead and drops me. I slam onto the solid ground, but Edward pulls me up by the collar. He raises one of his fists from my collar to hit me again, but before he lets loose on me once more, Angelica yells,
"That's enough, Ed! Any more and she might die."
Edward brings his fist down and grabs my collar with both hands. He brings his face so close to mine that I can feel the warmth of his sticky breath and spit as it sprays in my face. He drops me on the floor and gives me a stare. Lying on the floor limply, I see with my good eye through hair covering it, my backpack. It's dusty and marked by Edward's zigzag shoe pattern, but unopened. The feeling in my legs return enough for me to stand. Unsteadily, I stand and walk, or perhaps wobble towards my backpack. I bent over to pick it up, struggling to keep my balance. I put the backpack on and look back at Angelica to see if the expression I saw earlier was not my imagination. My vision was still bad from taking those hits, so I can't make out the look on her face from this far. I squint and still can't see her face, but I can see the way her body is moving, the way she's holding herself feels sad, or more like pouty.
What, do you have something to say still, huh? Was that not enough for you?
Edward yelled. I guess he thinks I'm still trying to pick a fight. I turn around to walk off and see them, the giant crowd that formed while I was getting beat into next week. Embarrassed, my adrenaline shot through the roof, and I run away from Angelica and her gang. I wipe away the blood dripping from my lip and nose as I run. I try as hard as I can not to stare into the eyes of the crowd. A sudden feeling shoots through me. I'm filled with guilt. Angelica always makes everything worse. Why did she have to look so concerned? Couldn't she just keep being the bad person I thought she was? I stare at the blacktop falling into a memory. Angelica and I were in a bathroom. Not any bathroom, but the bathroom. The one where our friendship ended. No, I'm not going to fall into that again. I began to look behind me to make sure the crowd is still out of sight, but I almost smashed into Miss Jones.
Watch it, you little... Leia, is that you? You're filthy. What's happened to you? You know what? Never mind. I don't want to hear it. Just go to the bathroom and clean yourself up, will you?
She exclaims. She moves around me like I'm scat on the street and starts walking toward her class. I can't take it anymore. Miss Jones has it out for me. My parents hate me. And Angelica, my ex-best friend, is making my life even harder. I should do it now. I was going to wait to do it the period before lunch, but I realized this is the perfect chance. Everyone is outside the bathroom from the fight. Miss Jones is not following me, and for now, Angelica and her crew will leave me be. I hastily and weakly head to the bathroom and see the gang approaching. Angelica is staring at me, her eyes somber and filled with sad curiosity. I quickly walk away and head towards the bathroom. Once I step inside and check every stall to make sure no one is inside, I slowly close the door, trying not to make any noise. I stand in front of the bathroom mirror and see my white blouse covered in dirt, wrinkled and torn. So much for going out looking clean, I said loudly, before I prepare myself for my final work of art.
Unfortunately, that is where we will be concluding this episode. If you enjoyed what you listened to today, or you just want to support our work, click that like button and, of course, subscribe with the bell notifications on. And for bonus content, follow us on Instagram at Project Vatu. And if you're curious and want to see where this story goes next, come back next week, the same time. We'll be waiting.